As building leaders, what are a few of the critical components necessary for successful implementation of MCL at each learning center?
First, I would say communication and collaboration. Those two things have been critical in moving this vision forward. Everyone has to know the why. If we don't know the why, then we flounder and we lose sight of the vision. And so I would say that communication and collaboration, both of those components have been critical on this journey of MCL.
Yeah, and we have 2 tracks in our buildings, so there could be some dissonance, there could be some divisiveness, and I'm sure that there's probably still is, even if it's not conscious once in a while. But I think what you do then, again, I go back to what we do daily in trying to urge our facilitators to be their best. When we're doing that, it doesn't make any difference which classroom they're in. We're still maintaining the same pedagogical targets that we wish for our instructors and for our learners. So I think that's so important that we maintain that consistency amongst all and still have exactly the same high expectations in every classroom.
I think the other interesting part about our profession is teachers sometimes aren't naturally risk takers, and it can be scary to step out of your comfort zone and take those risks. And so I feel like as building leaders, just supporting them and knowing that it's great to be innovative. You're going to try new things. It's not going to be perfect the first time, but you go back to the drawing board and it's going to be better every time. So just facilitators or teachers in the building knowing that they can be risk takers and they're going to be supportive if things aren't perfect the first time. And that's a change in culture, and that's critical for this whole process, just to have that positive culture of being risk takers and innovative.
And that's an interesting dynamic as well. I've always felt that there's no hierarchy. I'm just a teacher with an office, and so we get to serve with each other, but it's difficult within the master agreement and contracts and everything else because there's still that threat, of, I suppose, demotion or whatever. So trying to get to that place, again, I go back to reflect on the Danielson framework, which allows us just to have a conversation, dialogue about how we all get better. You have to try to maintain that model all the time, even though there are times when you have to be the boss. Just what Ms. Emerson said, that collegiality and that collaboration changes everything and changes the culture.
Yeah.
One more thing I'd like to add, and while I'm not in the buildings every day, I am in them enough to know that the data element is also really critical. Our administrators are looking at not only student achievement data, but also those other maybe a little more difficult to measure but equally important points. The engagement discussion that was happening, I know there's observations that are actively occurring within classrooms, monitoring student engagement and looking at those things. We're looking at other data points as well, parent satisfaction, student satisfaction data. We're also looking at office referrals, so it's important, I think, as well to have some of those data points that you can come back to, because inevitably somebody's going to come back and challenge the notion, saying this isn't the way we play school, and it's valuable to have those data points that you can speak to that helps quantify some of those things relative to engagement, relative to student satisfaction. We ask all of our learners, what's your level of satisfaction in school? We ask parents, are you satisfied with the learning experiences and the opportunities your children are having? So those are really critical as well as we think about how we continue to move things forward at the building level. I think it creates some opportunities for our principals to have some good conversations equally with our learning facilitators.